Hi, it's Norman Kochnek here from Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnek. Where do I start? This was an amazing day of cricket. As I must smugly say, I predicted, India have defeated Australia magnificently in a performance that will go down for the ages, one of the best performances India have had in their career, in their lifetime. Maybe the World Cup where Tendulkar and MS Dhoni played would be the only match that would match the significance of this test match, the significance of day 5, and in a four test series, having lost 9 of their players and only having 2 players that actually have played the series, that is Rahane and Pujara, left in the team, with Agarwal and Pant being in and out. They're the only players that have survived. How could India win a match so significantly with such a depleted side? Well, they did that today. And the most amazing day, the 5th day of the test match, India have actually won this test match by 3 wickets. Have done fantastically well. They were given no hope. And most of the stats were saying draw at best, Australia 30%, maybe whatever, and India 1%. Well, that 1%'s come to fruition. India have actually taken the stranglehold of the match today and have scored a 7 for 329 in the day's play, where fortunately there was very little rain, which was certainly in the lap of the gods. But take that away from the match. The way that the young guns of Shubman Gill with his 91, Rishabh Pant, man of the match, player of the match, with his 89, scoring the winning runs with a 4 magnificently through mid-off. And on top of that, the actual debutants of virtual debutants of Shardul Thakur, Washington Sundar, of course, is a debutant, Natarajan. Those 3 gentlemen performed magnificently, with Shardul very, very close to player of the match, having taken 3 wickets and the first 4 wickets in the second, and scored a magnificent 67, with the likes of Washington Sundar taking 3 wickets wickets in the second innings and having scored 62, and Natarajan was his 3 wickets in the first innings. Those 3 contributed heavily to the match. We mustn't also forget Mohammad Siraj, with all the attention in the 3rd test. He came out in the second innings and took 5 very important wickets, and a magnificent 5 for Mohammad Siraj. What a magnificent team performance. India rose to another level today, winning a test match, the first test match on the GABBA since 1988 that Australia has lost, and India have done it with a great deal of certainty and virtual total control for most of the day. We mustn't forget the contributions of Pujara and Rahane. Rahane certainly is captain throughout the series after Kohli's departure from the first test, and Pujara's resolute batting today when he scored a magnificent 56. So let's go through the scorecard, shall we? We had Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill return today to their performance and start the innings. They were actually none for 4 overnight, and amazingly, unfortunately, Rohit Sharma was actually caught off a good ball, a very good catch from Payne of Cummins for 7 at that stage. In fact, India were 1 for 18, so a relatively unfortunate start after the first 8.2 overs. That brought together Shubman Gill and Pujara, and they both batted fantastically, with Shubman Gill and Pujara bringing the score to 1 for 83 at lunch. There was still some 245 behind, so they were 1 for 83 at lunch with a massive 245 runs to get in the last 2 sessions. Nobody would have given them a chance, even at that late stage. And Pujara was actually 8 from 90 deliveries, so he showed his resolute technique to survive a barrage of short balls. In fact, they're saying that Mike Tyson, the boxer's sparring partner, would actually be wouldn't be nearly as bruised as what Pujara was, with the amount of balls that hit him, both on the hands, the side of the back of the head, on the helmet. He was hit everywhere, but resolutely did not flinch at any stage. Quite amazing. So they're at lunch, a 1 for 83. With Pujara, as I said, on 8, and Gill on a magnificent 64. They returned after lunch and continued to bat very, very well, with Pujara and Gill hitting magnificent shots, being very, very resolute. Unfortunately, Gill on 91, who was looking fantastic, was caught at first slip off the bowling of line when the score was 2 for 132. And it was very unfortunate because Gill looked certain to get a century. That brought then the resolute Pujara with his captain Rahane together, and they continued to bat very well. Pujara looking resolute and looking like he was never going to get out. And at that point, they were very strong. Unfortunately, the score was 167 when Rahane was caught by Payne off the bowling of Cummins. Cummins bowled particularly well today. In fact, Cummins has won the player of the series, and that was quite a performance from Cummins throughout the whole test series. He is by far the best bowler of Australia. Was well supported by Hazelwood. And at that point, India were actually 3 for 167. Pujara and Pant came together, and that became a very crucial partnership. the resolute nature of Pujara and the flamboyance of Pant, the never say never attitude of Pant, the extravagance of his shots and the resoluteness of Pujara was a great yin and yang for that partnership. At the point where they reached 183, Pujara was actually, he was out to a particularly good delivery and was LBW for 56. In fact, that happened post-tee, because they actually went to tee with a 100 runs scored in that session with the loss of only 2 wickets. And that put India in a great position. Still not yet a victory, but certainly very close. Pujara on 56, when he was caught LBW off the bowling Cummins, certainly threw a few shakes for the Indian team, but with Pant still there, and of course the likes of Agarwal, they were in very strong control. Pant and Agarwal started to bat like they do in no other series but a T20 or an ODI, but with a great deal of confidence. It wasn't just simply flamboyance, there was a lot of resoluteness in that partnership. Pant and Agarwal brought the score to 265 when Agarwal unfortunately popped a ball to Wade at a short mid-off and off the bowling Cummins, who again was bowling very well. The score was then 5 for 265 after 86.4 overs. Match was still in the balance, but Pant was still there, and he was joined by none other than Washington Sundar, the man who got 62 in the first innings, and he looked with great confidence and supported Pant beautifully. Pant took control, went on to 80. At that point, Sundar was unfortunately playing a rather risque shot and was out for 22 off the bowling of Lyon, and India was 6 for 318. A bit of concern, but really with Pant there was never a doubt. Pant went on to bat with Saini. Pant hit the winning runs with a magnificent off drive, which went to the boundary, and India won 7 down for 329, passing Australia's score. Who would ever have imagined this? I certainly wouldn't have. A magnificent performance. Saini was not out naught, but Pant's not out 89 has produced the goods when it was most needed. A match-winning batting performance, not unlike his performance in the third test, where he batted well. He's done it again on the 5th day of a test and getting 89. He was then deemed man of the match. But you could easily have given that man of the match to Shardul Thakur for his 3 and 4 wickets. He's 7 wickets in total, and he's 67. And even Washington Sundar with his 3 wickets, and on top of that, he's 62. All deserve merit. Natarajan with his bowling, and obviously Shubman Gill with his 91. They all contributed. All the young guns on the side, the debutants, batted and bowled fantastically. But yet, Pant, a standout. Not only is his keeping up to standard, his general way of rallying the team, and on top of that, his batting was faultless. 89 on out, hit the winning runs, magnificent victory. India win by 3 wickets, win the series 2-1, clear victors, and now not so much retain the Border Gavaskar Trophy as they were first thinking about a draw. They actually have won the Border Gavaskar Trophy, a 2-1 victory, a clear victory. This is way better than even the 2018 victory where Kohli and his men won the Border Gavaskar Trophy in Australia. This is more than defeated that. Who would ever imagine, with 9 of their 11 players not playing for most of the series, was in their entire bowling attack, their keeper, their captain, and a number of their batters. I'm sorry, that's unheard of. You imagine if Australia had done that, if they'd lost 9 players in their captain and all their bowlers, would they be in the same position? No. India have proven amazing result. This will go down as a legendary victory. Good on India. Let's look forward to the next series when they play England and Australia move on to South Africa. What a great result. The GABBA was alight with the colours of India. This is Norman Kochnak here from Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnak.